What's going on, everyone? Chris from Pickdawgz.com here with your free pick in the Pitt versus Louisville Week 7 college football matchup going down Saturday, October 14th, 2023. Just a reminder, if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to our channel and smash that thumbs up. And if you're looking for my best bets, the games I love the most, including my daily $19 best bet, make sure that you head on over to Pickdawgz.com, click the Premium Picks tab at the top of the page. But let's get to this one between Pitt and Louisville, and Louisville coming into this one 6-0 on the year, 3-2-1 against the number after arguably their biggest win in recent memory, taking out Notre Dame at home as 6-point dogs, 33-20, and not only clinching bowl eligibility, but just picking up a massive win overall on the year. Meanwhile, Pitt 1-4 on the year prior to their bye week last week, taking a loss 38-21 against Virginia Tech. Now let's look at Louisville. All right, 6-0 on the year. Can't take anything away from them. The scoreboard doesn't care about, if you were lucky or whatever. It is what it is. However, I have to take this with a grain of salt because prior to the win over Notre Dame, you dig a little bit into those victories. They scored 13 points in a win over NC State on the road, an NC State team that, demoted then starting quarterback Brennan Armstrong. So all of a sudden that win goes to a win over now a backup quarterback who really hasn't been looking good. Then you get the win over Boston College at home where you played your best this season. Prior to that, you beat an Indiana team in a game that you were leading 21-0. And for all intents and purposes, Indiana could have and probably should have tied that game. They just shot themselves in the foot late, and it's now an Indiana team that's fired their offensive coordinator that was leading the charge at that point. Prior to that, you beat up on a Murray State team that's one of the worst FCS teams in the country. And prior to that, to kick off your season, you barely beat Georgia Tech in a game that you could probably argue Georgia Tech also should have won outright. So am I saying that Louisville, is not 6-0? No, they are. It is what it is. Could I make the case that maybe they shouldn't be 6-0? I could also say that as well. Now, this game against Pitt is extremely tricky because, you've got Louisville, and now all of a sudden you got to go from that high, beating Notre Dame to now taking on a Pitt team. It's 1-4. Really, it looks like they're going nowhere fast. But from what I'm reading, obviously talking about Pitt, they're transferring switching from Phil Jerkovich's starting quarterback to now Penn State transferred Christian Veilleux. And from what I'm reading, rumblings out of Pitt is a lot of people are happy that Veilleux is getting the nod here, getting the chance to get the start. Now, that's not a knock on Jerkovich, but the reality is that Jerkovich I personally never understood the move from that Pitt made to take him in the transfer portal from Boston College. He was never great at Boston College, and it sort of hasn't translated here. Jerkovich rumored to be transitioning to a tight end role now, so we've seen it work for quarterbacks in the past. I mean, the first one that comes to mind for me is Julian Edelman. Was quarterback at Kent State, obviously transitioned to being one of the better slot receivers in the NFL in his time in the league. So maybe it'll work for Jerkovich, but there's just not enough tape for Louisville to have an advantage on being able to scout Veilleux here. I think that's going to add some variance here. I think that the fact that we're getting a touchdown plus a hook tells me that, maybe this does look like a bit of a sleepy spot for Louisville here. Because I would think that if the books believe that Louisville was as good of a team as that 6-0 record says they are, they'd probably be a 9.5, 10-point favorite here. But we're only getting 7.5. I think Pitt has a shot to ugly this one up and keep it somewhat close. Not saying that Louisville doesn't. I'm not saying Louisville gets outright upset here, but I just have this stinking feeling that this is going to be a closer game than a lot of people would expect. I'm going to plug my nose and take Pitt here in the points. That's going to be my free pick. But just a reminder, if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to our channel and smash that thumbs up. And if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pickdawgz Premium. While you're at Pickdawgz, check out our betting tools. They're 100% free. They're the best betting tools in the business and tools that you want to make sure that you have in your back pocket when you're making your best bets for the day's action. And while you're at our YouTube channel, make sure you have notifications turned on so you can be the first to be in the know when the newest content drops here at Pickdawgz. Thanks for watching. See you guys soon.